Hello there, everybody. So I thought I'd bring you guys along for a partial part of this bicycle commute here in the PNW. Enjoying the sunny weather while we still have it, and the close cars coming by. Yep, I don't think the weather's going to be holding on like this for too much longer, according to Mr. Weatherman. Says after Sunday we're looking at 2 weeks of rain to start out with. So yeah, totally enjoying and grateful for the weather we have right now today. But it's also probably one 60 not riding my bike. Nice day, and if this is working, you guys can like turn the screen. And first little hill and easement for pedestrians. This is a one-way street. Sometimes I go up on my bike. This one's really steep though. You span to your left, the block. But we make up for it in the elevation gain on going lateral down the block where we just came. Let me get in one more gear, drop it down one more. So what's it saying here? Grade. Oh, it's being covered up by maybe 8, 9, 10, something like that. I need to turn off the alarm feature for Garmin. It literally covers up the screen. It's like, oh, hazard ahead, and then it asks questions like, pothole, is this pothole still there? And it's almost like too much information in a way. Like, I see the relevance, like how it could be helpful to have, you know, warnings going on every little thing. Is a little bit overwhelming. And then when it's just popping up asking you, is this still even there? Almost like data overload. All right, another kind of little flat section, and there is another bike lane starting up here. See if we can cross the road. It's safe. There's a lot of traffic today. Get this car out out the way, and well, you know what? We'll go up the sidewalk on the left here, actually, because you can still span over to the left and catch glimpses of the Puget Sound. You see a boat right over there. The video I did yesterday of bicycle disc golf, live stream rather, it seemed to eat up the battery pretty good in just 40 minutes. Like, I think 40 minutes it ate up about 50% of the battery, or a little more. And they'll go ahead and get in the bike lane. Actually, we'll hop up on the sidewalk right here. At a considerable rate of speed under their engine exhaust to be extra loud. Right here, in super dry conditions, taking some really cheap soap, like those little hotel bar soaps, with you and rubbing it on the belt, and that seems to quiet it in the super dry conditions. Here's one of the lights that I can't bypass. I definitely have to stop here. Wait. Doing a lot of work to this facility over here, the Western State Hospital. Lots of dough going into that. All right, now we pick up about a mile of dedicated path, which is nice. It would be cool to have a world where these paths are alongside the roadway like this for commuting in urban and maybe even not so urban environments. But fortunately for the rest of the commute home, I can take There's some bike lanes and sidewalks and stuff. I don't necessarily have to be right on the road with the traffic, which is what I prefer. But most of the time when I cycle for utility first, like a means of transportation from getting from here to there, like commuting to work or going to get groceries or doing laundry or whatever kind of errand it is, appointments. And then secondary for just riding. And that's basically based on time availability. And most people work, or those who work and cycle 40+ hour weeks, you know, free time for just riding enjoyment is limited. So combining riding with, you know, other things you have to do, that's what I kind of try to do, so I can enjoy riding and getting stuff done at the same time, while, you know, not spending gas or sitting in my car exercising. Now, as far as the air quality, I mean, basically you're having to breathe all the exhaust from all the cars right next to you, so there's definitely that issue. But driving in a car is the same air, basically, unless you're running an air conditioner. But how much does your filter actually filter out as far as particulate pollution? I'm not real sure. This is a neat park off to the right. There's some trails through here. They have a little lake in this park that has a path like this that goes around it. That's just, I think it's a mile long for one complete loop around the little lake. That's kind of neat. I lived pretty close to here at one point in time, and I would just ride down to the lake and do laps. Off to the right is a little shot of Mount Rainier. It's going to be fleeting, but it's visible right now. It's a little bit hazy. I think there are some wildfires still around, kind of giving the visibility a little buffering. And speaking of buffering, I hope the video is not getting super buffered, even though I wouldn't doubt it. Relying on network connection, and if they decide to throttle you or not, who knows. With that, I was kind of intrigued with the announcement of the Tesla Fi phone and its connectivity, but I couldn't find anything about the subscription nor what apps it will be able to access. It says it's going to be on the Android system, so I would guess probably that whole infrastructure for apps. I'm kind of all intertwined in the Apple infrastructure, and I don't know if one's better than the other or whatnot. Let's see if I can go without getting smashed here. Oh man, and then of course there's a bus right here. I don't know what they're doing, if they're stopped, if they're going. I need to get out. He's right over the bike lane. There's people on board. I want to get on the sidewalk. I mean, what do you do in a situation like that? I guess I could just stop and put myself at a pinch point between an oncoming car and a bus, which I don't like that scenario. pinch point. That would be a severe pinch point. And I'm kind of a big advocate of cutting across big parking lots. Just any type of way I can separate myself from traffic. I try to make those calls and avoid intersections as much as possible. Intersections can be good, but they can also be kind of scary too, because of the right turn thing. It could be a red light, somebody's rushing up, they know they're going to take a right, so they don't stop and just turn without really looking. That kind of stuff happens. So just take kind of a little loop around that intersection. And I think this is lovely here, where you can't get up on the sidewalk right here. That's been blocked for months. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're going to have to take the bike lane down to somewhere like this. I know they're working on it. It takes time. But I find it interesting that all these sidewalk ends, they did the whole sidewalk, except where they connect to a road to connect to the next sidewalk, it's been blocked off for a really long time. I mean, these guys, the sidewalks have actually been finished for quite some time, but not the ends. Now, I understand there's probably some type of infrastructure for electrical, plumbing, fiber optics, that type of stuff. But like right here, you can't, if you come to the end, what do? You know, there's a needle. Ha, how about that? Right on the ground. A lovely needle. And this, I really don't like this bike lane, because I don't have any way of getting up on the sidewalk. And this bike lane literally ends right up here on this curb, pushing you right into traffic. I don't see anybody coming. So, yeah, nope, I think we're good right now. Yeah, but cars are coming, they don't realize the bike lane ends. Here comes a car. And then they zoom right next to you. Had a couple of really close calls right there. Man, if they would have just put an on-ramp back onto the sidewalk, it would be so much safer. But anyhow, this is a really thin sidewalk too, man. Coming across another pedestrian down this little chute. This happened a couple of times, and it gets really tight. So I try to look far and ahead, like up at either end of these, and see if it's clear, then I'll go. But if somebody's coming, I usually just stop and kind of wait for them to clear out. I mean, you want to take advantage of gravity, right? So something like that, get a little bit of speed on the uphill is always good, and to me it's worth the wait. Here I'm gonna take some back streets, get away from the noise of the cars. Amazing how much quieter it gets just a few feet from a major road. Pretty wild. How much the infrastructure just in a little ways absorbs the sound. This is short-lived also. Hopping right back on the sidewalk here shortly. And then going another freshly built sidewalk, which I was super stoked to see happen. Well, here's our little friend, let's wave. And this in particular section, I had two ways of traveling down this next, I don't know, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile. What are these guys doing? That there was no sidewalk at all. No bike lane, nothing. And at this Y coming up, sometimes I would go left or veer off to the right. And either way, I had to go off-road from basically this traffic light on for definitely a few blocks, maybe a half mile, I'm not sure, before it actually got onto some pedestrian type of right-of-way. But as things happen, see, they added that sidewalk off to the left and to the right here. Around the corner. And like straight, and man, it's a big detour. And then pop right back in right here. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. I was super happy to see this completed right here. Makes it much safer. Because otherwise there was kind of like a muddy pothole, like right away, and people would park there too, right along here. So yeah, this connection is actually really awesome, I think. But they added this traffic light up here, which I definitely have mixed opinions about, because this traffic light, I've never seen one so programmed so bad. When I drive or I come up here, this thing literally makes the everybody just stop, like it's not programmed well. If AI ever did anything good, man, it would surely be beneficial if they friggin', I'm just gonna go around all this stuff. Yeah, if they stuck some type of cameras and super intelligence into traffic lights to keep people from just sitting there idling. Idling in your car is just a huge waste of time and more pollution. But that light right there in particular needs to be addressed, in my opinion. Honestly, a lot of them in this little community have super bad sensors. Like nobody will be, you'll be driving up to it, nobody's around at all, and it just turns red. And the other one just like, it's on a timer no matter what. That just doesn't make sense. And then if you're at the forefront of it, you'll catch the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But I like to cross right here because this next intersection is just crazy. 1, 2, 4. All right. Everybody wants to turn right, even though you get these walk signs for you. When most drivers don't pay attention to them. I've been guilty of that. So I get it. Totally get it. It's just kind of tough to mix the two mediums on the same space. A lot of people have different opinions on that. But you go over to other places in the world now, like this. Why stop? You make me go in front of you. Like I'm supposed to trust you that you're stopped so somebody can hit you and then you run into me. I don't understand that perspective. It's like I'm going slow enough. Just go ahead and turn and I'll go behind you. I'd much rather go behind vehicles than in front of them. and like having to put my trust in somebody I don't know like that. And I don't really trust them that much because they're stopping in the roadway. That doesn't, to me, it's like, let's get off the road so I don't get rear-ended. You're obviously approaching me on your cycle, but I'm going to turn, you can go behind me, which for me would be logical. Or people backing up when they see you coming, so they just stop. Stop! I guess I'm being hypercritical, or I shouldn't be, but sometimes I can't help it. Again, I'd much rather pass around a vehicle that is in the opposite direction that they're moving. So if they're backing up, I want to go in front of them. If they're going forward, I want to go behind them. I don't like going in front of a vehicle in the path that is traveling. It just seems counterintuitive. But they don't know what you're doing, and really, the cyclist doesn't know what they're doing either. So that's all part of the game. You gotta play the odds, and here comes somebody up to this one. This little road right here, man, people just fly right up on. And I get it, like when you're driving, you gotta be able to see if there's oncoming traffic, but inevitably that blocks the pedestrian right away because, you know, visibility issues. Maybe someday the whole infrastructure will be looked at differently, but we have developed this country to be car-centric, no doubt about it. Automobile-centric society. Yep, we're gonna do the parking lot again. There's been a few, not that I've ever been there, but I sure want to go, like Amsterdam and a couple places over in Holland and in Europe, and actually some other countries where they just totally redesigned the city to make it more pedestrian accessible and to lessen the amount of congestions and automobile traffic. That term strode kind of, you know, lingers up into my mind when I talk about the subject. And this guy's churning. I don't know what they're doing. They can't see me. Swing wide. This little crossing, nobody there, nobody there. Sometimes it's beautiful right here. I can bypass that traffic light to the right, and got really lucky this time. It would just go right across and into another parking lot. And parking lots, generally the traffic moves a lot slower. People are kind of maybe a little bit more cautious or conscious of what they're doing. I mean, they're actually driving, scoping out a place to park or how to exit. And I think that pulls in a little more attention either way versus just going down the road, staring at TikTok or whatever social media you have on your phone. All right. We gotta link up to the sidewalk just for a second, and more parking lot travel. This is an industrial area, or square rather, and I think right around this time is kind of a shift change. I see a lot of people kind of moving about here. But some of these industries, they have like three shifts. So that's usually what, like 2 to 10, 10 to 6 and 6 to 2. And again, these guys are going to be pulling up on the sidewalk to see if anybody's coming. So if I take this path, then I can kind of have a little bit more navigational choices depending on the situation. A little bit further away from the traffic, a little bit quieter. So yeah, I kind of like it. Now the other time riding into work, sometimes it's after quote hours, and the security guard's like, you got to get out of here, you got to get out of here. That's happened a few dozen times throughout the years, but it's all right. I think just some dude with a bunch of lights on obviously kind of a touring bicycle or a commuter type bicycle would be his least problem, but who knows? Maybe that'd be a good cover for something else. All right, we got the green light. I don't see anybody looking to turn right immediately, except for this cop guy. So now we're going to have to wait for the entire cycle to go through. Usually I would have just gone through, because I mean, safe course is like here, but I don't want to cause an issue or anything. Certain officers, like, they get it, but some really want to be stickler to the law. And with cycling in particular, I think kind of waves, like, you got to take your own safety into your own hands. There's no protection. You're not in a cage or anything. You're just literally exposed, right? So sometimes being a little offensive, I think, is safer than not. Because, like, so here's the deal. Like, it's gonna change right when traffic all starts to move. But those little instances between everybody stopped, if I scoot across right then, man, that's just safer for everybody. Traffic's not moving, this or that. Now what's gonna happen is, like, this oncoming traffic, this truck, second truck in front of me is gonna be turning right, basically right when I get the green light. So that's going to make the traffic stop even further. When if I just go, like right now, behind that car, nobody else is turning, then this guy doesn't have to stop nor back up traffic, because he'll have nobody in his way to stop and wait to cross. Now, is that good or bad? I don't know. I mean, in my reasoning, I think it was the safest course for my own protection. Basically, everybody was stopped. It was the turn lane signal, and yeah, there was nobody else coming. I checked. I knew even if somebody were to pull out and kind of floor it, I knew my timing and how long it'd take me to get, like, at least clear of that. So yeah, out of those chances, man, I took it, and I think it was a little bit safer. But that's just me, and this is not advice for anybody at all. I don't like giving advice. These are just crazy thoughts I come up with while I'm pedaling down the road. I wonder if AI is going to take over barbershops. Did you guys go to a robot barbershop where you just kind of go in, they scan your head, they give you images of what your haircut could do? This device, like a, I don't know, like a vacuum cone, goes over your head, sucks up your hair, and then lasers like slice your hair into that in particular style or something. I haven't personally been to a barber shop in decades. For a long time I just didn't cut my hair and let it grow. And since it's kind of got long but still receding hairline, you know, it looked like a skullet and just kind of strange. So ever since then, just use a trimmer and just buzz it. All the same length, just keep it short. A lot less maintenance. Oh, come on, Mr. Van, don't give me another cyclist. But those with really thick, fast-growing hair, yeah, I could see how that wouldn't. I guess it could be a possibility, but if I had hair like that, I'd probably go to a barber too. Just take care of it. Because then you're dealing with a lot of biomass and, you know, a lot of effort actually. Somebody has a lot of hair. And with a lot of hair, you can change your look. Oh, can I stall out long enough? I have to put my foot down. This guy's going, I'll go too. They're turning. That intersection there is pretty intense, no doubt. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of vehicles pass through there. And we got another little hill to climb here. So far we've went up 364 feet. In some areas of the world that's nothing, in others, yes, quite a bit. Especially in this short little jaunt. So far my average speed on this commute is like 10.5 miles an hour. It's about par for the course for me. We're stopping and going and just, I forget what zone this is, zone 2, where you can pedal and talk or whatever. The bikes I ride are usually fairly heavy. I try to, you know, not necessarily design, even though this new frame I got coming in was designed. A lot of particulars and had custom built. But they're not built for just like road racing speed. I like to go off what's, I guess, considered the adventure style. Basically, all stemming back from mountain bike, right? And then how that's evolved. So I like 29-inch tires, boost spacing. Here comes a car. They're not looking. They're looking. They looked, waved, acknowledged I was a go. Yeah, boost spacing. I like that because I think it's a little bit more rugged and durable. Perhaps the wider spokes could make for a stronger wheel overall. Wider tires. At one point, when you mix that with a heavy bike and day after day. It depends on what you're doing. Like commuting, I don't know if that's really the most efficient you can get, but I want to get over here. Nobody's coming. But I guess if you're pedaling across like a desert or something, you know, something really rocky, so you're not gonna go very fast. But super skinny tires, on the flip side, they're really high pressure. If you run tubeless, sometimes they can be a chore to plug and have the plugs actually hold. So I find that between 2 and like 2.3, for me anyhow, 2-inch to 2.3-inch wide tire seems to be the golden spot for what I do. Yep, there's a green light. Hope this guy didn't get us. Another busy intersection, a lot of traffic, and broken glass right here. Right? But down then up. This is a big intersection for homeless and drug use. And right up here, I'm going to hop on the sidewalk again.